Hello everybody, this is Michael Stephen Vargas from WeGoChess.com. A lot of beginners out there just watch some advanced players think really fast, like really fast. For them, potentially like they're watching some blitz games or bullet games and they just can't understand how these people moving so fast and thinking so fast, making so many reasonable moves, and they wonder how to do it, how they can do it themselves. Now, I actually have the answer, but it is not as obvious as you think. And so, that's really what's going to be this video is all about, which is how can you think faster in chess. Now, I hate to break it to you, but there is no shortcut. Beginners are naturally slow thinkers. Some people think that some of their like smarts outside of the game, that for example they are just very good, like adaptive at most things that they pursue, will transpose over to chess naturally, which is it can be true, but it is not true for most people. Some beginners just can't accept that this is natural. When you are a beginner, you don't have the enough tools to have the vision to understand reasonable moves on whim. You actually have to analyze because you're not just used to the concepts in chess. So just thinking faster in general takes some experience to learn. Though I do believe that there are things that you can do to make this process faster, but still, just by being a good player overall will make it much more easier for you to think faster. That is just true for probably for everything, and that is true in this as well. But before I go through like some of the tips to actually think fast, I want to provide a caution, right? That just because you think fast does not necessarily mean that you think better, right? The goal should not be to think fast, but to think better. So what if you play very fast, but you're not really making not even the best possible move? You're not making reasonable moves in the position. It's not gonna amount to anything. It's still better to play slow and run out of time than to actually play fast and lose. Because when you run out of time, then you know that you can just make some necessary adjustment because you have to, since the fact that you can play means that you have understood some of the concepts in chess. But if you just play fast all the time, you wouldn't give yourself any margin to actually learn, because you're just playing fast, right? You're not thinking. The substance to actually finding the moves is not being trained. So as we speak, my first advice, if you want to really think fast, is you should prepare before the game. So it doesn't necessarily just mean openings, right? Maybe it's your opponent. Maybe you want, for example, your strategy for this particular matchup is you want to play slow and steady. So if you have that kind of mindset or playstyle already set in place, you have prepared it beforehand, then you are likely to actually waste time on things that doesn't matter because you already know what to do. And so if you can prepare, especially against certain matchup, then you should do it, right? Because it will cut down the thinking time. Next is you should learn basic openings. Now take note that I say learn, not memorize. Of course, memorization it's pretty great, but it's only pretty great if you're already good at this. Most people are not really good at this, at least most people that will be watching this video, because if you're already good at this, why are you watching this? If you learn openings, you are less likely to waste time on the opening phase because you already know the moves to consider, not even play, just to consider, and so you only have to choose among limited viable options. This will cut down your thinking time a lot if you know the openings. Next is increase your positional vision. Now, this is a little bit more ambiguous. Positional vision is just basically mean like slow, steady maneuvering skill that you can learn. This is much more harder, for example, to develop than tactical. You can already really develop positional finesse by just continuously playing. So, but if you can somehow know, for example, naturally be good at finding little improvements in the position, then it will reduce your thinking time. Next is you should play tactical puzzles. So tactics are really for beginners some of the hardest thing to spot, because for example positional, yes, like deep positional moves are really also hard to spot for beginners, but sometimes beginners can play the tactical, the positional moves even without realizing like that it is the best move. However, tactics are much more it's much more something that you should really learn. It's not something natural most of the time for players. And so if you want to reduce your thinking time, then you should consider increasing your tactical strength, so you don't spend that much in finding out tactical combinations, and you can do that by playing tactical puzzles. Next thing, so you could decrease your thinking time, is just learning general rules of chess. Some beginners will think or a lot about like just the rules, like is en passant allowed, is it castling legal, or how is this, can you under promote, right? This just like basic things that you can learn even without playing, but it's also things that a lot of beginners struggle from. If you can learn the rules, and even if you're just playing online, right, you can still like pre-moves, those like rules like that, you should also learn that, so you don't have to think about it when a situation where a particular rule is important arises. Next tip that I have for you is practice slow chess. Chess with slow time controls. So this might seem counterintuitive, like we want to think fast, but we have to play slow, slower time controls. But when you play slow, this is like the real chess, because you're going to be thinking a lot and having much more deeper understanding of position. And this, if you can't be good at chess without being good at slow chess, like it's the thing. It's really chess in its fullest form. And so if you can be good at slow chess, you are much more likely to be also good at fast chess. If you're good at fast chess, then you are much more likely to be thinking fast. Fast chess, oh yes, very much more likely to be thinking fast, because you're just very good at almost any time format if you are good at slow chess. The next tip that I have is just analyze your own games. So if you're just playing in an online platform, this is much easier to do. If you just need to look which, for example, phase are you wasting a lot of time, maybe it's the opening and the end game, so you could work on it. Also, just it's gonna to give you even the psychological stuff, right? What is your state of mind that make you slow at making these particular decisions? Which decisions are much harder to make for you and takes you a longer time? So by analyzing your own games, you are also evaluating your overall strength as a player. So this is a good way to kind of evaluate, and also a process to make you think faster in chess. And the last tip I have for you, just general, is play more chess. So I know that sounds lazy. It's also lazy. Just play more chess, but it's really true. People are really just trying to see the shortcuts, which in reality's terms, usually there is no shortcut. You can implement all the things that I have said above, and it will make it a little bit faster. But bottom line is you really have to play a lot to develop that intuition, right? To understand the position faster than you would have when you are still a beginner. So that is all. That is all my thoughts on this. How can you think faster in chess? But really, you need just experience. You follow everything I have said, but just be aware that in the end you still need to play a lot in order to think fast. And so if you disagree, you can feel free to comment below so we can discuss, and you can give this video a like if you have liked the video, to get this video recommended to more people. So that is all. Sleep well and play chess.